Well, this video is meant to be half serious and half comedic, but let me be upfront. As a Hispanic slash Latino male, I think it's fine to be Hispanic and or Latino, but some people think that's a binary, but whatever. So, as a Latin male man, I do take the issue of racism seriously. Of course, there are many evils, many plagues in the world. It's only one of them. So, invoking racism comedically, yes, it's a valid thing. Believe me, I love many comedies that treat that subject in that way. But I do want to note, yeah, it's a little weird to do it that way. So, am I calling Mike Rinder racist? Well, yes and no. So, what is the big deal or the controversy? Well, and I'll do a more full analysis on the article because, it's a little amusing. So, essentially, Ali wrote a very interesting piece on fan culture and the anti Scientology movement. I think the main thrust of her general ideas is fine, that the movement, again, people don't want to say these things, but it is degenerating into silly clown time. I mean, good or bad, that's where we are. It's becoming more and more clownish with people just coming up with more and more antics. So the core of anti-Scientology keeps drifting into silliness. And wouldn't you know, Mike Rinder loved hearing this analysis and decided to quote it in his blog. Now, that might be a contradiction because earlier, Mr. Rinder said, I'm stepping away from the social medias. Yeah, the social medias, it's so toxic. I'm going to take a little breather. But magically, he returned just in time for this analysis that makes him not a good guy, but says, a lot of this hatred in the SPTV community seems focused on one object. Well, two objects, to be fair. There's David Miscavige and Mike Rinder. It just seems very easy for many SPTV people to hate Mike Rinder. And I should know that. The videos that have gotten the best responses have been the Mike Rinder videos where I mercilessly call him a Nazi, a murderer, and just general thug. I'm not taking those words back because he is, generally speaking, a thug, murderer, and evil Nazi man. However, is he a racist Nazi man? Well, it's a little curious because it goes both ways. On the one hand, he's very racist in one way, but then he's anti-racist another way. So in the actual blog post, get ready for it, he chided her for using fancy words. Yes, because when a woman of color uses fancy words, that's bad. So I thought that was a bad thing. Maybe it should be written in more caveman, stupid language, which I guess to him is more normal for POCs because they should do it that way. Okay, so that was a little racist. Why should a POC author dumb things down? Don't know. But then it's anti-racist because here he is. Oh, Miss Ali. Finally, we have a brilliant woman analysis of this movement that has been steadily getting worse and worse. So you're like, oh, wow, Mike is promoting a woman of color. That's amazing. Wow, he's very racially progressive. But obviously the punchline is he's highlighting this article because the article is saying, well, listen, a lot of evil happened in Scientology. But Mike Rinder called out a lot of the evil. But now, for some odd reason, everyone wants to hate Mike. Now, I think there are good reasons to hate Mike, and I think Ali should have done a little bit more research. But yes, she is right that it is becoming a bit of a spectacle that if you want some easy laughs or some easy views, what you do is pull out Mike Rinder. He is just a very lovable, perfect enemy target where people just enjoy hating him. Now, granted, he's done a lot of hateable things, but beyond a certain point, it feels like an anthropological problem. He is sort of like this sacred cow where the magic is off, and now everyone's like, that sacred cow, once we couldn't touch it, nobody could say anything bad about the cow. Nobody could even look at the cow. But now the cow is vulnerable, and turns out it wasn't a magic cow or sacred cow at all. And people are getting very, very angry at the cow and think, hey, we need some hamburgers. I'm in the mood for big, big hamburgers, and I want to get that cow meat on my plate. So I think, as always, Rinder is being very cynical. Not full-blown racist, but kind of semi-racist to pull in a female person of color to shield him. Pretty disgusting. However, Ali has a minor point. Yes, there is something a little too easy with just making Mike Rinder the whole moral universe where hating him makes you a good person. That's a bit of a dodgy step, and too many people are doing that. I hope I'm not doing that. When I hate Mike Rinder, it's because I've done my research carefully, but definitely some people have treated him as the super Satan man who we can feel better about ourselves just by hating him every day, which is like, okay. I mean, it goes, not ashamed of my quote hate videos of Mike Rinder. At the same time, I'm like, I hope we will not only be focusing on Mike Rinder and or Miscavige, right? There are other evil people in the cult, right? There are other evil people, right? We can criticize other people, right? Well, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. He seems to be the only safe target besides David Miscavige. Is that where we want to be in the future? I don't know. I honestly don't know.